Hello family, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Susanna N. For those who don't know me, I am Susanna N, right? Welcome back to the channel. If you come across my YouTube channel, just subscribe. If you come across any video of Susanna N, just watch that video, just click on it and watch and like and share. Tell your friends also to subscribe. So today's video is all about how long should I breastfeed a baby? How long? Should I breastfeed a baby, right? So if you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment, share. Just few seconds of your time, then you're good to go, right? So let's get into it. In this video, actually, I decided to be sharing with you guys about some tips about first-time moms. So for those new mothers, if you're planning on having a baby, if you have a baby and you don't know what to do, so I'll be sharing some tips on this channel. Just keep on following me and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Though I delay to post the videos, but still keep on following me. I'll be uploading videos for you. I just look for something quality and then I upload for you guys. So as always, when you're a mother, like if you're a first time mom and you give birth in a hospital, of course, always when you give birth in a hospital. Giving birth in homes, at homes, in those village hospitals is not allowed actually. But you know what I mean by village hospital, like if you have there are always those village doctors whereby they are just professionals in helping those women to give birth in villages, yeah. But then they don't have all that requirement that the big hospitals have. But let me tell you, it is good to give birth in the main hospital, not in village, that small village hospital, yeah. That is maybe if there has come abruptly when you're not aware, but when you are aware of that day when the baby is coming, you have to go to the hospital early, right? So it's good to go early than waiting for the baby to come at the exact day. Then you start running, then you start packing, pack your clothes early, arrange everything early, and then you get ready. Count your days and get ready to go to the hospital for they first check you up and things like that. Yeah, so that is how you have to prepare yourself. Get ready, get yourself ready very early, and then wait for that day that you've been told that this is your last day, and then you go to the hospital before even that day. Don't wait that day to pass and then you go. No, just go that day and everything will be fine. So when you give birth in a hospital, there are always the instructions they give you, yeah. Here they normally test you first. That day when you give birth, they test your blood, your safe from other viruses, diseases, CTC, so that will not affect the baby. And also after that, in the ward where you're sleeping, there are those doctors, I mean nurses, I call them nurses, but they're still doctors. They come there and then give mothers advice, like when you go home, um, breastfeed your baby for 6 months before giving food. When you go home, eat enough food so that the baby can have enough milk on your breast. When you go home, take care of your baby, keep your baby in warm. When you go home, when your baby is starting to eat, you have to start with this. You know, they give you a lot of hard advice in a hospital, how you handle your baby, how you're going to handle your baby, what you're going to introduce to your baby when your baby is starting to drink porridge, the type of porridge fuller you're going to start with, and so many things. Like for me, actually, I had nobody to tell me what to do, but that day in the hospital I listened to all that advice. That actually helped me up to now, and that is what I followed up to now. And so many people were telling me that, why are you following that advice, why don't you do this, why don't you do this? But I was like, I think it is better I follow the doctor's advice than just going with people. This one tells you this one tells you. You know that different mothers now, you know, in rentals, like the place you're renting, the other one is a mother. There are so many mothers, so each of them has experience has different experience, right, in caring of, in taking care of of our children. So this one can tell you do this, the other one can tell you do this, the other one can tell you don't do this, do this, do this. So you're going to get confused and just be in the middle. So for me, that is what confused me actually. I said, let me just follow the doctor's advice. I think it will take me, it will do me better for my baby. So instead of listening to all that advice, let me just take 5% of that neighbor's advice and then 95% of the doctor's advice. So I think that would be better for me. So that's what I followed. So when you're coming home, like when you're breastfeeding, yeah, the age that the period you have to breastfeed your baby, like most especially firstborns, right? Breastfeeding of firstborn, it is advised by the doctors that you have to breastfeed your baby for good 2 years without removing that kid from the breast, because your milk, his body or her body needs your milk to boost him or her up, to make him or her strong, and also sharpen his brain, yeah, make him sharp, right? So the doctors advise that you have to breastfeed your firstborn for good 2 years. Then when that baby is done for 2 years, you have to stop that baby breastfeeding. But you find out that some mothers also exceed 2 years, because you know how the baby can disturb you. You know, removing the baby from the breast is such a hard thing. So the baby can disturb you, cry the whole night, cry the whole day, crying on you. Let's say you put pili on your breast and then he sucks that thing, and then oh my god, you know the taste of the pili, how bitter it is. It is really, really very bitter. So for the baby to get that on his mouth for the first time, it is very, very bitter. Now the baby can be frustrated, can cry, disturb you the whole day like nothing. So it's advised that you have to breastfeed your firstborn for good 2 years, and secondborn, it is actually not obvious you have to breastfeed your secondborn for good 2 years. Secondborn you can even remove on your on breast for in maybe 1 year and a half. Yeah, most especially 1 year and a half. But also, if you maybe if you, that is let's say that is when you're working. If you're working, you can even remove your secondborn on breast early, because you will introduce that feeding bottle for your baby to drink that milk when you're not at home, right? Then that's when you can remove your baby. You know, even these days, some mothers that are working, those ones who are working, they can go to work early in the morning. They make sure they have a stock of milk in the house, so that the maid can have enough milk to give the baby, right? I think that is the best way. That is these days that many mothers are doing. But let me tell you, let me give you advice for the firstborns. You have to remove your baby, or you have to stop your firstborn breastfeeding on when the baby has reached 2 years. That's when you have to stop, and then introduce to the milk, bottle milk. You make sure there is enough food in the house. You make sure you have enough fruits in the house, so that that baby can actually have enough proteins, enough carbohydrates, enough food that the baby has been having from the breast. Because as a mother, you eat a lot of things. Like you've gone out there, you've got the maize, you've eaten, you've got the mango, you've eaten, you've got motra, you've eaten, you've got, you know, you mix a lot of things. And you know, when that milk comes, when the baby breastfeeds that milk can come with different foods, you know, some building food, some protein, some carbohydrates. You know, the baby can just be very, very okay, very strong and energetic, right? So that's why when you stop the baby from the breast, it's advised that you have to make sure that baby eats enough food. But for the first time, it is advised when you're stopping your baby from breastfeeding, you have to make sure that day when you're stopping your baby from breast, you have to make sure you be there at home. You observe the baby, how the baby is feeding, how the baby is drinking milk or eating fruits for at least 1 week. That is what the doctors told us in the hospital. Actually, it was just of recent when I went for that, because I wanted to stop my baby from breastfeeding, because the baby can breastfeed until you feel like kizungu, you feel like fainting because your stomach is very empty. Let me tell you, for the first, for those ones who have boys, I know you can relate to this. Baby boys breastfeed a lot, you know, whereby you as a mother, you have to eat a lot of food. You just don't have to eat a little food. That time when the baby is on the breast, my friend, you feel like fainting. I'm telling you out of experience, you feel like fainting. So you have to eat a lot if you have a baby boy. You have to eat, you have to drink, you have to eat fruits, you have to eat etc. Yeah. So if you're that mother planning to stop your baby from breast, make sure you don't that day you don't go out because you're planning to stop your baby from breast. And then another thing, when you're stopping your baby from breast, you have to use pilipili, either pepper, to put on your breast. Secondly, you have to either take your baby to the village, to the mother, to your mother, grandmother, to the baby's grandmother, so that you leave the baby there for like 1 week or 2 weeks, so that the baby can forget their breast, because that is what the easiest way actually. But then if your parents are far, you can still do the rest of the things. You can either use pili on your breast, or use aloe vera, put aloe vera on your breast. Then when the baby puts the breast on his mouth or her mouth, he can feel it is bitter, right? And just leave it like that, and the baby cannot breastfeed again. So you introduce that milk. Make sure if you have the blender in your house, you make sure you're blending that juice, fresh juice, for the baby to drink, because now he's not breastfeeding, or she's not breastfeeding, so he needs, or she needs a lot to eat. Yeah. So for the first 1 week, don't leave the baby with a milk, because the baby can disturb, the baby can cry, the baby can do anything. And then some babies, when they're leaving their breast, they can start diureting, because they are now introduced to many foods. They are now going to miss the breast. I mean the milk, the breast milk. Now they can start diureting, and it is not good for you, the mother, to be far when the baby is diureting. You have to be near the baby, and observe the baby, how the baby is behaving. So that is all I wanted to share with you today. The period for stopping the baby to breastfeed is 2 years. Don't stop the baby to breastfeed at the age of 1 year or 1 year and a half. If the baby is your firstborn, it's very risky. That is what the doctors told me. So it's very risky. So don't do that. And I just thought of sharing it out with you. Like I said in the previous video, the best time to the breastfeed, to give the baby the food, to introduce the baby to the food, is after 6 months of breastfeeding. If you're from the hospital and you stay at home for 6 months, your baby, now you have to introduce your baby to the porridge. You start with porridge. Don't start with the milk, because that milk can actually affect the baby's stomach, because that milk is actually strong than your milk. So after 6 months, you introduce the baby to the porridge, soft porridge, because he needs, or she needs, soft porridge first. So after your 6 months, 7, you introduce the baby to the food, soft foods like Irish potatoes, maybe yams, soft yams. You cook it until it is soft, and spinach, at least for the first time. Spinach is just the best for kids, because when you cook it, it cooks very soft. After that, you can introduce to the ugali. Step by step, your baby can get used to the foods. But you have to be keen with the baby, because if you, like today, he has eaten, or she has eaten waru, you have to first take care of him. How has he poo-pooed? How has he reacted to that? If he reacts, or she reacts good to that, the next day also you introduce another food. You have to go like that. If you find that food is affecting his stomach or her stomach, you stop that food, cancel that food from the list. You go to the next food again, like that, like that. That is how I was doing to my baby. And yeah, and up to now he's fine. And I'm so happy that I followed the doctor's advice. I followed the doctor's advice that they told me. I'm very, very happy. So that's all today. That's what I actually wanted to share with you today in today's video actually. And it's good to share small things for the first time moms, if you're also first time mom. And yeah, it is good to share this. And thank you so much for clicking on my video. If you find it is very, very good for you, educative for you, just give this video a thumbs up and then subscribe. Just subscribe. There's a subscribe button down below. Just subscribe to it. Share the video to your friends, and tell your friends also to subscribe to the channel. I really, really appreciate. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel as a family, and I really, really appreciate for your support, for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and for sticking out with me on the road to 1,000 subscribers very soon. And thank you so much for watching. Be safe and bye.